hope you're wearing headphones, because this is like totally made for that. And I know there's some of you out there that like can't deal with this kind of stuff, but that's I can't stop myself. You know? Sometimes you gotta go there. You know. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes you gotta get a little trippy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let yourself go there, and not limit yourself. You hear that at the end, I'll press the notes and it's like a delay that comes from the back end of the sound. I'll do it again, watch. There it is. See, it just comes back in. How's it going? It's been a while with my technology, so I don't know. I'm not going to have it together for this stream. But I am doing something else in the background. I needed to do things with my app, you know, and to give myself the chance to do things. See there, that's what I want. Yeah, hey, I see you in chat. Hello, KP1231. Anna here, M, hello to you. Jagger Waters, peace out to you. Peace out to you. We're going to have a drone in the background. Yeah, we got some pink vulva-ish graphic on my screen. I mean, I didn't do that on purpose, but that's the way of my life, by the way. If you want to know what my life is really about, it's either been looking at something like this, walking towards something that like this, leaving something towards like this, and being completely surrounded by something like this. So everything else is that, and it's where I came from too. It's one of these things. Anyway, welcome to the live stream. I'm going to talk about these week's transits, and I did a full moon video last night. If you haven't watched it, check that out. I'll go briefly over that too, and a couple other things on the surprise live stream. Yeah, no, see, look how this graphic flies. It has wings. It's like a butterfly. It's a surrounded butterfly. It's not just the top. It actually goes internal and within and surrounding in a wishbone fashion, and it spreads its wings. It's a thing that they should teach in high school to men. You know, if they understand this, they understand the shaping and the movement of all this, the world would be completely different. I mean, in one way, straight men out there, you would actually get what you really want if you just understood this, and you understood the movement of all this, and the type of listening that you would have to do in all ways in integrating with what you're seeing on the screen and in life. And you're not losing your manhood, by the way, by doing this. As a matter of fact, your manhood is actually enhanced by understanding something like this. You know, the thing that where you have come from, and also that you're scared of, because it's really powerful, right? But if you are present and listening and strong and patient and understand this vulvic image and what it does in life, you could have anything that you want. So, you know, it's one of these things that's an ongoing process, right? It's one of these motivating factors, if you need one, to get you going in life. And you know what? I admittedly have come to places where I despise this. I didn't want anything to do it because it just brought me so much trouble and heartache. And at the same time, if I realize the amount of growth that has happened to me as a man, as a human being, with this vulvic signature here, that it's paid off in the end. It still doesn't mean that I should be disrespected. As a matter of fact, I should be honored. So it's reciprocal. It's like, yeah, do I need to know everything about the vulvic signatures in life and my integration as them and honoring them? Yeah, at the same time, though, you got to remember, dudes out there, straight dudes out there, you're going to do this. It needs to be reciprocated. You need to be honored too. So it's not just one-sided, right? So and you'll start to figure out who does reciprocate towards you and who honors you. Because then when that happens, you take your sweet old time with this butterfly, this pink butterfly on the screen. You know what I mean? And then other things happen. It's like the creative core of you and whoever it else is. You start to fly. You know what I mean? You start to fly. You go somewhere else. It's transcendent. And you get to these amazing, open, past vulnerable places, and you see the light. And not only do you see the light, you feel the light up and down your spine, and you're breathing, and they're breathing, and yeah. But it takes maturity and patience, not just from the straight dude end on one end. It takes the same on the other end. That's a rare deal, you know? That's a rare deal. And so that's how I'll start the live stream off today. I with some pink. Swelling pink on the screen. Swelling pink on the screen. Just constantly swelling and moving in life. And when it is dormant, which things need to be dormant in life sometimes, that's cool. Then there's times where you notice that in the world and with people or someone you are, let's say, intimately close with, when there's times where the dormancy, the dormant part of it all needs to be completely rocked, like completely shattered, completely invigorated, completely opened up. And then that's where things flow. And I'd say right now in the world and in life, I think we need more of this. I think there's a lot of stagnant stuff going on. And, yeah. You feel me? So you need to break off. Or in some of these R&B tunes from the late 80s and early 90s, like Keith Sweat and stuff, do you ever hear him say, like, I'm going to break you off? You know what I'm saying? Like, they would say that. And then women would come on these R&B songs. She's like, break me off. And then he'd say, well, I'm breaking you off. And then she would come back, well, you break me off. You know what I mean? So, you see, it comes in all forms. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So, hey, I want to say to hi to everybody in chat. What's happening? Let me see if I could do this. I said hi to Jagger Waters and here I am with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat right here. Of $7. Thank you, with a purple heart. I'm gonna heart it up. Linda Calder. Hey, purple butterflies. Yeah. Good to see you, Linda. And Astro Stephanie throwing a purple heart at me, too. James Sanders. Hello, James. Along with Megan Omdahl. Thank you, James, who are paid subscribers to my channel. That's why they got this little gold symbol next to the name. I really would appreciate that. Even on Patreon, I was looking at the little bit of coin that comes through on YouTube Lives and Patreon, and it actually really helps me. And my goal is to double and triple those numbers by the end of the year, because then I will be able to do other things. And not only my practice growing, but the more resources that I have that help my state of mind and my body and calm my nervous system and give me rest and good food, I'm realizing then when I reciprocate outwards with people on the channel or in readings, I'm just at another level. It feels really good. And so that is something that I was reminded of here the last 3-4 weeks of my life. So I want to say thank you to those who donate. Faust Lilith, hello to you. And Angela, another paid member to my YouTube channel, throwing some snowflakes. Because, yeah, depending where you are in the States, it's cold. It is cold. It's cold out there. So, again, thanks for joining in. And everybody else out there watching on my surprise live stream. Yeah, we'll talk about some transits this week. There's more Mercury stuff going on, that's for sure. We got a huge Mercury day right now. Let me get to my main face. There's a huge Mercury day here happening because early this morning, at about 4 in the morning Pacific time, we had Mercury in Aquarius conjunct the Sun in Aquarius. And so, this is an exterior conjunction. The last time we had a conjunction on the inferior side was during the Mercury retrograde that happened here in December. And so we're on the other side of this, and Mercury's moving full steam ahead and in the ingenious fixed air sign that is Aquarius. So, we have another moment here of clarity and of higher mindedness, I would say, and could be in the Aquarius part of your chart. It's definitely affecting me. This whole Mercury and Aquarius transit that we've had has been huge for me. I'm still processing and still trying to understand the things and the ideas and the words that have come through me here on my travels and even being back. Hopefully not for long. Hopefully I keep traveling. But yeah, this morning was symbolic. Part of me was wishing that I actually put my full moon and Leo video out at that moment, but I needed to get it out last night because I was in the mood. I'm still in the mood with thoughts I have about current astrological weather and what I'm seeing in the world and society and people. So saying that, when you have Mercury and the Sun, there's a pure insight there, and pure insights come from that place. Then you have a building, full moon that's coming up here, right? That has Uranus involved in it all. And you can see the electrical energy, the vibrance of it all, the unpredictability of it all in many different ways. And so we have something else that contributes to that basically tomorrow when we're building to Uranus and Taurus, and we'll be squaring off with Mercury in Aquarius. So you have now 3 things within right now that are happening that have to do with disruption and breaking off and doing things differently, and lightning bolts and surprises and things like that. So I thrive in this type of energy. I thrive. I almost find calm in it all. Personally, but anyway, Mercury was conjunct the Sun at 4:08 a.m. This morning Pacific time, and then about an hour later we had the official Mars and Cancer transit trining Saturn and Pisces. Another awesome aspect that I think is around this week too, and even in the full moon. So if you're not used to surprise and things getting uprooted and things coming out of the blue, or wielding chaos, or you have chaos in your life, you could look to the water placements in the sky right now with Mars and Cancer and Saturn and Pisces, which when combined can work together and build anything. Now, this building of anything and this free flow between Mars and Saturn happens in water signs, so it is an eternal emotional story. And when you have it not in an extreme, right? Like sometimes emotional stories get really extreme. Along with Cancer Moon right now this weekend, it's pretty good stuff. I enjoy it. Enjoy it now because this water placement stuff is going to get really interesting in the next month and a half when we go into, we're in eclipse season now, but when we go there, then it's a lot different, I think, personally. But for right now, if you're looking for a solution in the chaos and you're not used to wielding chaos and being in chaos, is something I talked about on my full moon video, I would look to the Pisces and Cancer parts of your chart, and I would see how those two are talking to each other and how they could talk to each other, and utilize that emotional space. So again, I want to say hi to, who else do I have here? I got, hey, Patrick, what's up? How are you? Amina's here. Mandy, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, that's Silly Bird right over there. So yeah, there's that. So basically we have Moon in Cancer right now still, which then everything that I just explained, the Moon follows through on with it did it with a conjunction with Mars about 2 hours ago. And then trining Saturn 2 hours ago. It does a sextile with Uranus later on tonight. And we got pretty much have a Cancer Moon during the Super Bowl, which I find is interesting. And I expect some surprises during that game. But if anybody who follows NFL football knows that the league, and if you've been following for a while, this is my biased opinion, they favor the Kansas City Chiefs. They want them to win because it sells tickets and all that kind of stuff. And usually they get referee calls in their favor at critical points in the game. Well, we see that today. Don't be surprised if you do. Then the Moon goes into Leo here in the morning on the 10th. And then, yeah, I just want to say something too here because of something that's been happening since September of last year with the Moon. And I find it interesting because the Moon will go into Taurus. And then there's always a Moon-Uranus conjunction in Taurus, which is, okay, we know what that story is since 2018. And then the Moon goes into Gemini for 2.5 days. And so then the Moon's going to be conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. So that's very cerebral for 2.5 days all of a sudden after being in Earth. And you have to go to see where Mercury is in the sky to define this. And then after Moon, Jupiter, and Gemini, we do Moon in Cancer. And since September, for the most part, that we've had Mars being in Cancer for most of the time. So then we do a Moon-Mars conjunction in Cancer, right, for 2.5 days, where we are right now. And then after that, Moon goes into Leo. But there's like a week here since September where the Moon is hitting in 3 major planets and major storylines. So it's interesting to see people's moods and how they're moving through a Taurus Moon. That it seems pretty chill and vibes with water planets, but at the end hits Uranus, so it's all just gets discombobulated, and then it goes into Gemini, which is just like pure mind power, and hitting Jupiter, and it's just like at times 20 on the mind sense, right? It's just so much mental energy, and then we go into water with Cancer Moon, and then it goes completely inward with Mars retrograde there, and depending on someone's story, completely flushed with emotions or them coming up or containing them or having to protect themselves or protect other people. It's just a lot actually in weeks. So I think recently in the last couple of weeks, I've been very appreciative of we had a Mars-Venus trine when Venus was in Pisces, right? Then we had that weekend. I did that video about the love potion there. We had the Moon hitting in Pisces, hitting Saturn, Neptune, North Node. It's just been a lot of interesting water and then air. So it's shifting now. But just pay attention here pretty much while Mars is in Cancer all the way into March, when you hit the week of Taurus Moon, Gemini Moon, Cancer Moon. Okay, so anyway, to the next. Hey, what's up? I see you in chat. Astro Stephanie's an Eagles fan. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan, but I am cheering for them today because I will tell you why. It's actually really out of spite. It's you want the ultimate drama, even if you don't care about football. What you really want, just for it to happen, is you want a close-up of Taylor Swift's face. And if her boyfriend, who, by the way, in a quote this week in an interview, said it would be an honor to play in the Super Bowl, an honor that Donald Trump was going to be at the game. Now, just think about this. Anyway, so I want to see a loss of epic proportions in the worst way for the Kansas City Chiefs, because then I want to see the close-up on her face. So that is what I'm really watching the game. We're most likely not going to get that because of what I mentioned earlier. Okay. Just cuz. You know what I'm saying? Just cuz. It doesn't matter if it's a billionaire on the one side, a libertarian side, a Republican side, or on the so-called liberal side, there is no left anymore, by the way, it's disintegrated. Regardless, they're billionaires. You're not. You don't fly in Lear jets. You don't fly in Lear. You never will. And if you do, it's briefly. You're fucking 0.00% lucky. No matter what someone says politically with that amount of power, they are still living in another fucking cloud than you are. So I don't care what they say or what party they belong to, what candidate they picked, and how everybody, oh my God, they so-and-so picked this and they're getting people to vote. It don't mean shit because the whole thing's fucked up. But in the end, I'm just looking from a class issue perspective. It's like, they don't know the way I live, and the majority of people the way they live. And you can get caught up in the fantasy of entertainment and the internet, right? You could do this. But haven't you figured out that it really doesn't do anything on the political end? So why would you throw all your emotional chips onto something like this or someone like that? They're still flying Lear jets. You're still scraping for coins, cookie crumbs. In some circles, they call that bread and circuses. Bread and circuses. I got a new setup today. If you haven't watched, I'm standing here. Things are a little different. I have to stand. I'm going to change the way I use my body in my world these days. So, all right. I got the full moon up on the screen here. And, yeah. Hi, Leanne Patterson in chat. So let's do this. I'm going to go to present time. Let's start talking about the transits. It's going to be Monday. We're going to have a Mercury square Uranus aspect. It's right now, really. It happens at 11:20 a.m. 11:27 a.m. Yeah, that's what it says right here. It's right there, and you can see Mercury here, which is coming out of the sun. It's still there. It's conjunct the sun. You can't see it in the sky. It's in this death and rebirth process like what's happening today. I enjoy this. And then here's Uranus at 23 degrees. They're squaring off. And the moon, the sun, you see where the sun is here. You see what's going on here. This is not stable. It can be inspiring, though. That is for sure. And if you're one to be willing to stand in the unstableness of the mind and what a planet like Uranus can do to a Mercury in Aquarius, you have a sudden insight sitting there. You got another wild idea that Mercury in Aquarius can get a hold on. But again, we have an aspect here that's in fixed signs. So this could be very tightly bound and very pressure cooker feeling for some people in situations, right? But regardless, it's like what comes out of the lightning bolt that hits Mercury here and the pieces that they fall where they may, the pieces in the mind, there's something there to find. There's something there to pull from all that. And, this becomes very important, I think, down the line later in the fall because Uranus will go back into the later degrees of Taurus for so many months, and it isn't until next year, 2026, that Uranus goes into Gemini fully, and then for 8 years. Okay, so this is an interesting moment here, and it's if you watch my full moon video, I'll pull up a couple charts on the screen about last August. These lunations, we had a new moon and a full moon. We had a new moon in Aquarius. A full moon in Aquarius, a new moon in Leo. And they had these signatures that we're seeing now are just flipped. So this is a continuation of stuff that's coming from the end of last summer, Northern Hemisphere, winter in the Southern. Because my Southern Hemisphere people, I'm all about it there. I'm all about it, and I'm going back. I got to go back. Okay. So anyway, the back then, let's just do it. Actually, let me just show you. This was on my full moon video. Actually, we're looking at a full moon chart right here. That's the 24th of August 19th, 2024 of last year, and you could see the full moon here at 27 degrees Aquarius, and there was Mercury right there during its retrograde cycle. Right, it just went through the sun. You could see it here on the chart, and then you see Uranus here squaring off with them. And so the signature itself is pretty much the full moon, just in reverse here, that's coming up here on Wednesday morning. So if you're looking for the tie-in, it goes back to then. In a political moment, remember, coming into July, the end of July into August, there were several things happening politically here where Uranus was a signature and it evolved in it, right? So don't be surprised this week that there's a thread that is happening with all of this, okay? So saying that, we have at 11:27 a.m. There on the 10th, we have Mercury being squared by Uranus with the moon in Leo, which, by the way, is always, while we have moon in Leo now, there's always going to be this moon-Pluto opposition that's going to happen now. Whenever the moon's in Leo, for the next 20 years, we're going to do this once a month. All right. So then we're going to get to the February 11th. And I will pick here. Then we have the sun that is actually officially going to be squared by Uranus here. There's the sun. And then there is Uranus right there. That's going to happen at 11:30 a.m. It's happening right now, and we haven't even hit the full moon officially yet. So you could see the type of energy that's brewing around here. We looked. Venus is in Aries, trying to get what it wants. It's not thinking and contemplating about what it wants. It's pushing that agenda. Venus in Aries is ruled by this Mars retrograde. So there's a lot of a pushing of an agenda going on here and wanting it and the immediacy and the rapidness of it. And can that happen? Is that happening? And then you have electric, unpredictable energy here for the week. It's not boring, that's for sure. But I'm just showing this to you from my perspective because I want you to gain context in your life here. We've had a lot of watery stuff here the last so many weeks. It's been pretty good. And we've had some amazing Mercury moments and all this. But now Mercury's thrown a little bit off kilter here, and it's got to adjust. And can a Mercury in a fixed sign adjust that fast? I don't think it can. That's where the tension comes from and all that kind of stuff. So you could see here, on the way of the full moon, so on and so forth. Okay, so saying that, I got to go to here. Let me do this. Ray Faye 20, hello, welcome to the stream. And Angela, I'm glad you caught the stream, Angela. It's good. And Mandy, thank you for the spite. Thank you, Mandy. Not for the cash, for that comment. For the spite. Exactly. So saying that, thank you for the super chat. MC, I see you. MC says the planetary retrograde, pre-retrograde shadows always has pivot events. Yes, it does. And mind you, like if we even look here, right, we know we just had a Jupiter station at 11 degrees and it's still there right now. So anybody who knows with Jupiter and a current Uranus situation that's been there, they're at these degrees still, even after days, after last week or whenever it was. What was it? Last Tuesday? It's not even a full week that Jupiter stationed. Then Uranus was the weekend before. They're still at these degrees. So MC is saying, yeah, these are huge. Now, if you have these degrees in your chart, this is big. I mean, anytime you have degrees at stationary points with planets, I mean, I work with clients like with this stuff all the time, and they last for days, weeks, if it's an outer body planet, so very critical there. So saying that, yeah. So Nadia is here in chat, another paid channel subscriber. Thank you for your contributions. And Patrick just became a Secret Sparks 1. I got to change my thing. I got to call it something else. It has to be something that's like secret agent-ish or something like an autonomous crew of chaos makers. Something like that. Thank you, Patrick. Waving Cat also is here, paid subscriber. Nicholas, is it better for you if you were a patron or channel member? Yes. Here's the deal. YouTube takes 30% cut out of anything that happens on YouTube. Patreon doesn't take that much. That's the reality. But it's nice getting super chats. It's huge for me. So you choose. Regardless, the paid people on either platform get to go to the Zoom call I do once a month, right? Which I think might do next weekend. And then, there's the discount codes that I give the paid people for reading. So which one's coming up this week? Good question. Patrick says, I would argue that the applying aspect should be thought of Mercury squaring Uranus, less of a Uranus affecting Mercury, and more of Mercury bring up all the crap that Uranus is doing. That's an interesting perspective, Patrick. I always take the outer body planet as the most powerful planet. That's kind of why I say things that way, but I also would agree with what you're saying. I think that's a good way of looking at it. And yeah, so saying that, Tanya Stone, hello, welcome. Staunch reading. Yeah, right on. Yeah, good question. The other way is, people, I'll get random PayPal payments on my account because they go down to my links down below and go find the sparklesofgold.com/links, and you'll see all these other random links. And sometimes people they're usually Virgo oriented people counting to the last cent. You're like, you're not getting the full thing, so I'm going to PayPal you because you get, which I appreciate. So anyway, but I take all of this. I take all of the donation things and one thing, because I'm putting all my energy towards YouTube and Patreon, we'll figure this out. I don't want to do one or the other because of what's about to happen with YouTube, and that's for another conversation. Okay, so anyway, but I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Let's do this full moon. Let me do something here. And I'm going to only talk about this briefly because I'm going to encourage everybody to watch my video that I made last night on this. So it's called OUTCAST. Anyway, here it is. Kind of like the band OUTCAST. I didn't even think about that. You could see here at 24 degrees now, just really not as exactly, but close to the same signature with the chart that I showed you last summer, okay? Summer/winter northern hemisphere. So here we have 24 degrees. You see Mercury close to the sun, and here you have Uranus just stationing forward. It's just raring to go, and it's ready to throw its weight around. So again, you have anything in fixed degrees here, I actually think you're the catalyst. I actually think that you've paid a lot of prices and learned a lot in the last 5 years, whether it was eclipses that affected you and a Uranus story or Venus retrograde that happened in Leo. All you fixed people have been through a lot the last so many years, and you're coming out of it. And I think you get to wield some stuff here. I think you're the example right now. We know the rest of the transits that are happening this year with the other stuff, but you're the ones here that I think can fix signs. Did they learn how to get out of a certain stubbornness of themselves and understand what unpredictability and change is? Because that's the hardest thing for a fixed sign to deal with. What have they learned here the last 8 years? And I think you can be the example. And this goes for Scorpios too. All the 4 fixed signs here. Yeah, I think you could do stuff this year, finally. You can go take a look at my yearly rising sign videos. I talk about this in some of the fixed sign areas, fixed signs there. So anyway, I think I just know that I would want you to be chaotic and to wield things. This goes for everybody, because I talked about this in the video that I did. How important it is to understand how important it is to understand timing and environments and the state of things. And for those in the United States especially, we know the state of things. You can't ignore it. I suggest some people to not look at things if they are caught up emotionally and it fucks with your mental health and your nervous system. You could do better work without looking at stuff. You could still be informed, do things in a different way. I encourage that. But in the end, in that video that I made, I'm just basically saying, there are structures that many of us depended on, whether it was a social media platform or it was a government, it was a political party, or it was a certain something that was helping you in your creativeness or your health insurance or whatever it is. It's all been falling apart. And it's not a surprise that this has been happening. For many, it is. So depending where you are in the surprise story, one can feel helpless and get caught up in the victim place, in a hurt place, and at some point you have to move from that place. So for me, what I was saying on the video is do you find yourself outcasted? You find yourself all of a sudden these things in certain parts of your life or your whole life aren't working anymore. Are you in that place now? Now, for me, this happened to me years ago. Others, it's just their own story, but I see on a more mass cultural level that it's happening. And so what do you do in a place like that? And when you have this amount of Uranus energy and it's happening and affecting a Leo moon and the sign of Leo and Aquarius, where in the video I talked about how one does their individuality. Leo does it their own way, Aquarius does it their other way, but that's what they have in common. It's like, well, what do you do then? Are you submitting? Are you beholden to these other structures that have their energetic shackles on you? Do you not fit in anymore in all that? Even with your certain friend groups or family, or they're kind of stuck in this other way, and you know that there's something else and that this isn't serving you anymore. And in a sense, you find yourself an outcast. And so for me, it's about accepting that and reveling in that space and taking that space and owning that space and being proud to say that you're an outcast, actually, and to take it on and put the costume on and be that. And what happens in situations like that are liberating, because you break off and there's tears involved. You lose things, lose people, lose former ideas that worked or whatever. But in the end, it's like there's something more. And so situations happen in the world or in people's lives that force them into being an outcast. Or you choose to be an outcast. Regardless, can you accept it? And not only can you accept it, but can you revel in it? And can you use it? And instead of the lightning bolt hitting your life, you have to choose how you react to those surprising lightning bolts or being thrown off kilter. And the other part of it is then picking it up and becoming it and wielding it yourself. So wielding the chaos yourself. So in one sense, with fixed signs, you do have control over the chaos, and you might as well be the one initiating the chaos or at the driver's wheel behind it. So, that's my concept. That's what's been on my mind lately, and it's not going to stop. It's the identity of this channel, actually. And it's something I've been talking about with the Pluto and Aquarius transit, as many of you know. This is just a big chapter in it. And, I'm starting to see a little bit of fight back from people. I'm starting to see people come out of their little thing and maybe step out of their hazy ways that they've been dealing with their pain, whether it's they're taking pharma pills or they're drinking or they're doing whatever else, or how many fucking Netflix series you have to consume to not deal with things. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay. I'm not going to try to judge you. But at some point, you got to break free and you got to step out, and that's risky. And when you risk, it's fearful. But when you finally do risk, and let's say you take the chaotic energy and make it your own, it's not fear anymore. It's courage. Leo shows us courage. Aquarius shows us autonomy when we decide to walk our own path. And you combine the two, and I got an electrical lightning bolt right there. You can see where I'm coming from. So, whether you agree or not, nothing ain't going to be ever the same. So you got to come to terms with that. And knowing that, you might as well risk it creatively. You might as well do whatever the hell you want, because you're going to be good that way. And this comes down to later, because if you're doing that with other people, or you're establishing trust, like I'm on this channel, I've been preaching I trust myself, right? You do that kind of thing. You trust your own chaos, and you are doing that, and you run into other people doing the same thing in their own autonomously individualistic way. You slowly develop the trust within each other. There's nothing or anybody can do to take that away from you. And not only that, there's new things that come, and it's exhilarating, and it feels good, and you feel together. Not only do you feel grounded in yourself, but you feel like you got a legit crew. And you're just going to say, fuck it, because you're all wielding chaos. Again, the intention behind it is one thing. Some people they're wheeling chaos out there to damage people, society, because they're truly living in fear and pain. Right? You could see these people from a mile away. How much energy do you give those people? Sometimes you have to break off. You'll come back and deal with them. But sometimes you have to break off. There ain't no feeling like taking fear and changing it into courage by risk taking. So we do that creatively. And that's what I'm into. I don't care. I don't care, what anybody else is going to say, or they're going to, I could tell. I had 2 people subscribe from my channel last night. I knew exactly what it was for because they were new and they saw the video that I did on the full moon, and I could tell. I just knew it, and I knew it when I was doing the video. I just what the fuck, man. Full moon, February 12th on 5:53 a.m. Pacific. I really encourage your own creative risk taking. You probably had a lot of practice actually in some of this during the pandemic because many of us were forced out of a certain schedule. And so you all did things creatively. Like you did sidetracked. You went on a research sidetracked online or some books that you did. You were all learning how to make fucking sourdough starters or whatever, and knitting. Whatever you were doing, you have practice actually at this. It's like, for me, it's like now the next step, now the next something. Is it shitty out there and it feels like we're forced? I'm so happy to see people showing up in the Capitol steps or trying to do stuff as protesting. But listen, that's not the only way. And I think those ways only work so much. And the other ways that were coming from diverse communities, marginalized communities, they have a reality check hitting them if they haven't figured it out yet. Now, you're not going to like this, some of you, but the wording, the philosophies, when you have other people use it against you and you take a big fucking L, 2 big L's, 2 big losses in elections, you better change your strategy. It doesn't mean you change what you feel and what you believe in, but this is the time to go all out and be inventive. This is the time to take the risks, because you want things to change. It requires trusting the unknown, and you have to trust your own unknown. So it's like when you do this, anything goes. There ain't nothing like doing that and then making something that feels rebellious. And I'm not talking on the street, like for yourself or for your crew. There ain't nothing like that feeling of togetherness. That is awaiting all of you in whatever form or fashion. And that's the cool part. You could do it the whatever way that you want. And so that's the beauty of it. And that can never be put into ones and zeros or sold or whatever. That's what they're going to want to do. That's what trends are. That capitalistic trendy shit, it don't work. It is part of a failing storyline. So, fuck it. You might as well just go all out the other way. And so am I going to use astrology to do my opinion about what it happens as human beings, what we do? Fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to not run on it in fear on this channel. I'm about personal insight and understanding for people and the beauty that comes from that. And the real true history of the world comes from those who were willing to risk and willing to risk creatively and then share that eventually with the world. That might not get all the headlines and it might not be the most trendiest thing that gets all the followers. But from an earth organic human level, it will pierce every single one of your senses and gives you the opportunity to do that with other people. That is your human right. You're meant to do that, right? So, a lot of what I'm saying here is something that comes from the Leo Aquarius archetype. And that's why I push expression here. And I push it with some of y'all, or all of you, So it's a thing where Again, you don't have to agree with what I say, but just hear it. You got to do something else with it. You go do it. The biggest thing is just you go do it. That's all I really care about. Surprise me, surprise the world, surprise yourself. It's that's where you can get the rush. Kiska is a new joiner to my channel here on the stream. Thank you. Right on. And then Steffi G, hello. General strikes. Yep, we're going there. That's inevitable. It's the labor movement. They're going to be the one pillar here, as many of us know. And it's going to be interesting here because when they go for that fully, then it's on. It's truly on. They ain't stopping that. So, all right. So full moon that happens on the 12th here. Moon will be going into Virgo that night on the 12th in Virgo. Oh, and then we get to get practical there. I appreciate my Virgo moons. Just make sure you go to sleep before 10 o'clock, will you? Yeah, and then we go to the 14th. We'll just jump here because then we have Mercury basically leaving Aquarius finally, it seems like. I'm gonna miss it. And then we're gonna enter the true story here because did I get this right? Now hold on a second. I'm doing stuff on the side, which I should always show you what I'm doing. It's Mercury here going into Pisces here on some day called February 14th. I don't know what that means for the 14th of February. It's just another sugar holiday, really, in the end. It brings up a huge amount of pressure for couples, and for the most part, I think. Not that I don't believe in stuff, but God, I could tell you stories. Anyway, so make the best of it, will you? A lot of pressure. So here it is right here that Mercury will enter in Pisces here on 4:06 a.m. on Friday Pacific time, and we're entering the realm of a Mercury retrograde here now. That's going to happen here. Mercury will station retrograde here in March, actually in Aries, and we'll go all the way back into the later degrees of Pisces. Venus is going to do the same story, and so here we are. We're about to enter the realm. And if you notice here with the transits that Mercury's bringing up the rear from all the planets. All the other planets move through the signs, but Mercury's on the back end because of the retrograde before it. So it's speeding along and it's trying to catch up. So a lot of the themes and places Mercury goes, it's covering the ground that other planets did already. Okay, so in general, not all of them, but you know what I'm saying. So here we are, you see Mercury, which you can already know then it's going to do a conjunction to Saturn. It's going to do a Neptune conjunction, a nodal conjunction, and it's going to do it several times, like with some of these placements. And we know Venus in Pisces, since it's going to go back from Aries to Pisces, is going to be 2 more conjunctions with Saturn. You could see here the Piscean Aries story here are really going to start to kick in a gear here. So saying that, that happens, Mercury's going to be in creative, compassionate, loving Pisces, where the poetic word, and not just the sound of the word, but the way Mercury delivers its messages, will happen in a emotional, mutable way that I find awesome, really. When you meet somebody with Mercury and Pisces, and you try to have a conversation with them, and mind you, let me just reiterate, you try to have a conversation with them, you might as well ask them to send you a playlist, instead, not just writing, or they're trying to explain something to you. Can you just, write it down to me and send it to me tomorrow, or send me a playlist. And then you're really going to get the feeling of what they're trying to say, not saying that they can't articulate. I think they can. And just sometimes it could be word salad. And, but anybody with Mercury mutables like that, but we appreciate them because they're also, in one way, Hermes is going from the outer world to the underworld in that sign, and they're able, let's say they're doing, I'm making this up right now. Mercury's in the outer world, but it's at the beach, and then it goes under the water and then comes back. So instead of going to the underworld, it's going under the water and coming back with a message that, in a sense, is not the normal way of hearing it and explaining things. And can that message be transcribed and pushed out for you to understand. And I think a lot of ways they can. Again, it's through which vessels it is. And it's not just with the spoken word. It's in many different ways. And this is why we appreciate Mercury being in Pisces. So saying that, we got to remember the chameleons, and they can take on any identity with the word and be that way. And I think they have a certain type of sensitivity with what they do and what they think, and it can be very good with that, and sometimes not know that it's sensitive, and becoming one with the word, or one with whatever the subject matter it is, and what messages need to come from that is, the enmeshment that happens. It's great. Other times it's not. You just have to be careful with that. But at the end, can the words of Mercury and Pisces, the longing that it has, the longing in its message, and can that come through in an intoxicating potion of words and messaging, and then permeate the rest of the world or whoever you're speaking to? That's beautiful stuff. The other side of it is it doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, so there's my thing. Steffi G, thank you. Wow, we're hit the goal here, didn't we? And Steffi G's coming. Steffi G is inspired. I could tell they're in chat because maybe my rant earlier. And James Sanders too. Solidarity to both of you, to all of you out there. I appreciate you seeing me that way. So Waving Cat's throwing. Thank you for the with the yellow. Right on. First super chat on Livestream. Thank you. And they say word salad, Pisces, Mercury here. Yeah, we love it. We love it, don't we? That happens on Friday. There's going to be a lot of aspects that are going to happen from that. And basically, it's interesting because the moon will be in Virgo during that time. Virgo moon these days, whenever it comes into play, is always going to be opposite all the Pisces stuff. So you see what we're going into this weekend. And it's a mercurial thing. Mercury still this week is a messenger, right? You see what's happening with the conjunction with the sun today, the square with Uranus, or Patrick would say Mercury squaring Uranus, the everything else. And then, then Mercury goes into Pisces, and then the moon's opposite. It's another great week for Hermes. Never boring, my androgynous friend. Male, female, you do whatever else you want. You pick whatever dignity you want. You get to do whatever you want. You're such a cool something in our lives. So yeah, that's on the 15th, we're going to go moon in Libra. And then we move moon in Libra. It's going to do its cardinal thing with other planets. And then Monday, the 17th, it's the moon in Scorpio. There's other aspects because when we get into next Tuesday, we're on our way to the last degrees of Aquarius birthdays, and then we hit the Pisces birthdays, all right? And then I think there is where we fully start to kick in the eclipse story. And before you know it, we're in deep. And then it's going to be like on the 23rd of February that Mars will station forward out of its retrograde cycle. So a lot around, but I would like you to just really look at the now from the Uranus perspective, the full moon that's building. Go take a look at the sky right now because stuff's still very visual out there with Mars. I saw Mars moon last night. And by the way, when I was in Australia, to see the sky from there, I mean, I could have had an orgasm right there when I did. I had a different kind of orgasm looking at the sky at various times there because there was the familiar and then there was the things that I've never seen in the sky. Southern Cross, there was a bunch of stuff where things were actually placed in a different way. It just fucked with my mind in such a good way that I want more. I want more. I want more of my world to be fucked with in those ways. I want to see the world and experience the world in many different places where it's hitting my brain and the cells of my body that have never been accessed before. And what happened. So it's like some of you, if you ever traveled, you go to a foreign country and they're just doing things differently, saying things differently. You just can't even talk. It takes you a couple days to just you're in wonder of it all. Your brain is trying to process the whole thing. You're trying to, and then you realize you stop trying. You stop trying because then you let go and you let it hit you, like let it just take you, and then you open up. Now, Australia, they speak English, so it's a little different, but there's just, anywhere you go, things are different. And so whether it was the stars or the 20 variations of the wind that came to me, or it's like I could talk about the birds for hours and so many other things, regardless if it's there anywhere else, or it's internal for you, that you catch the wind and inspiration maybe this week for you to walk down a different path in your mind and your heart and your soul, or a different way to walk on your actual walks, or a different way to come back to home when you're driving. I risk it to go there because it brings growth, and it opens yourself up and will bring inspiration, and you'll be surprised and marveled at who you are and what you're capable of. And sometimes you just need something to put you there. And sometimes like me, I initiated that, but other times life throws the lightning bolt out at you, and you get thrown, and you're like, it's hard, but then everything's different, and your senses pick up other things, and it's there. That's where the gold is. That's where it's all sparkling over there. And can you grasp that and take it and just like, fuck, I'm grateful for this one, because if this didn't happen, I would have never thought or seen or heard that. And then it takes you down a certain path, and you must know everything about it, and you want more. Like you want more. So it's like there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what propels human beings, So anyway, that's the only way I'm going to sum up my trip, because purposely a lot of it was private, and some of you on my Instagram saw some stories, but I didn't really post much, and some of the videos that I made. And by the way, I got another video coming with another interview that I did with somebody. That's my Patreon members, channel members are going to get it this week. But inspiring nonetheless. And I want to say just thank you to those who've helped me on this channel, because it got me there. And I'm going back. And I'm looking at flight deals all the time now. I'm going to be selling half of my astrology book collection. I'm going to be selling a lot of my music gear. I am completely going to downsize my life, and I renewing my passport, the whole deal. I need to go. I need to be in places where I feel good. I feel right, and I'm going to do anything I can to make that happen. And that's going to be a better astrologer, bigger channel, more clients, whatever projects I have to do with other astrologers. I'm all about it. I'm all in. So, it's all learning experience, but can I do it while feeling good in my body and my mind? That's all that matters to me. Can I be the best person I could be if I'm feeling that way? And then I talk to you or a client that comes my way that's referred. I could do my best work with them. And help mirror and support them. My message will become clearer on the channel. I just know this stuff already, that's just the work, So saying that, I'm still a little bit discombobulated from my trip. I'm still processing. And I'm trying not to be disappointed or weird of like, I wish I was there. I wish I was this and that. I'm taking it for what it is, but it's also completely changed me. And hence that's why I'm making changes in my life, why I'm standing on this stream, while this background possibly going to change to give it more depth. There's a lot of things here slowly here that I want to do. And with ideas that came to me, recently. And then there's the dreams. I don't know if you've ever, my whole life, since I can remember as a kid, was having a hard time differentiating what is real and what is not. Like what it was to dream and wake up and then be in the world. Like obviously we all do this, but for me, there's always been a, sometimes like waking up and then being in the world, there is no separation for me. Or I would dream things and they would become true. Or I would think of daydreams in waking life and they would happen in my dreams. Or I can't explain this. I've tried bringing this up, but it's not for me to fully explain. But that story and language in my life is everything. And I was an outcast in many ways for being people knowing me, and I was playing all the roles, but secretly I was dealing with the dream things and the consequences of living like that. And it's very, you find yourself alone. And it's what's even worse is you can be in a room full of people who know you but don't know that about you, and then you're feeling even more alone. And so I've struggled in my life, and I've been very fortunate to have instances in my life where I was able to corral this narrative and express through it, because I was a professional photographer for years in the early 90s, and I found black and white photography, street photography, and I was influenced by many photographers who came through the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. A lot of the Magnum photographers, Cartier-Bresson and Robert Capa and Eve Arnold and Diane Arbus. I mean, all these people are just limitless. The way of looking at the world through a photographic image, was revolutionary because of what happened with the invention and the technology, or whatever you want to call it, with silver highlight crystals on emulsion to make a photograph. Anyway, that's a whole nother something. But for me, it was the one thing that I was apt to be able to capture my dreams, waking and dream life through the camera, and the struggle to do it, because I'm seeing it constantly, and I thought I got the picture, but I didn't, and it was 3 a.m. drunk off whiskey developing my film, and I fucked up the film. Can you understand the creative process here of living and dying and risking through a photograph, and the decisive moment became my life. And it changed for me eventually. I'm an astrologer now, but there's something that happened to me on this trip that reminded me of what I used to call chasing shadow and light. And this time it hit me again, the passion behind it. But I wasn't taking pictures with my phone camera. I was at certain points, but I didn't even post it. It was just more about the act of it, and then letting go and just having to be present in situations where the waking and dream life converged in the moment. And for me to be standing somewhere with the wind blowing and hearing things and going, I dreamt this 20 years ago. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it's been a long time for me to walk down the street by myself in some foreign place where no one knows me, and to be smiling for hours, knowing that it wasn't just a moment, that dream that I had in the past was happening for minutes at a time, and to know that it was it, and not feel I have to document it or say anything or post about it. Those places, those spots, that way, that's what happens to me on these streams. And it happens to me in another way when I'm working with clients. And the more centered I am, the more I recognize the moment and feel to let it happen, but I'm still present and aware, and I don't feel like I have to manipulate the moment. And if it's with a client, like another person in a astrological therapeutic client space, what happens with me? I'm serving the world. Like I'm happy and content, and I can fill my belly up with food and pay the rent and hopefully travel. But the most important thing after that is I'm serving the world. And I'll do anything for that. I'll risk take for that. If there is such a thing as a legacy, if there is something like that for me, I just want it to be where I did my best and I was present in those dream converging moments with other people through my practice, where it was then beyond me or us. It was just you or whoever it is in the moment or walking away, feeling with just a little bit more of an understanding of your place in the world and feeling deeply human and seeing your own dream come into play, right? To see your visions fulfill themselves or possibly fulfill themselves in front of you. So that's all I care about. There's the ones that are closest to me. Obviously, I care about them, and I care. My well-being is everything. But after that, it's like, I want to serve the world, and I am lucky if while serving the world, it's dreams manifested. So it doesn't get any better than that. So even in the chaotic mess or whatever, I think that way, finding oneself in a place like that happens through creative endeavors, and it happens with trusting oneself and trusting the world to guide you. And that is dream. That's dream, and that's life. And I wish your own version of whatever that is, or whatever your storyline is and your narrative, I wish it for you. I wish for wonder for you, you know. And so that's my message here at the end of this live stream is I'm in that place. You know, these things go away, but again, like I told you, that's always been there, right? It's for me. And I'm happy enough to, in one way, to have the knowledge and the wisdom and the age that I'm at to recognize that it's always been there, and it's just been a dance of trying to connect or understand or what it means to me or who I am. And these days, there ain't no question, you know, about what that is for me. So, yeah. So anyway, I should look at chat, and I got to get some food and go to the library, go pick up a book, and then maybe watch humans hitting, I don't know, whatever. Thanks for listening, everybody. Let me take a look at a chat. Anne-Marie, I see, is here. And before I go, Anne-Marie, Rig, good to see you here. Another paid person to my channel. I am Endless Possibilities. You are. Thanks for being here. And yeah, K. Michelle, good to see you. A&G, feeling okay in our body as much as possible is all there is. That's pretty much it. We're in these flesh costumes with this mind, for better or worse. Ago, yeah. I'll look at the chat later. I always appreciate. Dora Destroys here, catching it live. Glad you made it. Yeah, Amandita, hello. Oh, I see Mandy and Linda. You guys are talking there. Cool. Yeah, check it out. Listen, let me get this off the screen here, my main face. I hit my chat goal, so we're going to pick a card before I leave. This one's going to be actually from a different deck that I just have out on the table here. It is, hold on a second. It's this deck. That's not going to do you any good. hold on. Oh, did I put the deck? I did something. We're just going to have to go on the fly. Oh, I have a feeling I know where it is. Maybe it's here. It is. All right. I didn't plan on this, by the way, but this is from the dream. I'm serious. It's from the Mystical Dream Tarot. It just tells you what zone I'm in right now. I was pulling cards last night and today, and this is what's on the table. An incredible deck. Yeah, I've talked about this deck on the channel before. I really love it. So, and I love the artwork on here. So let's pick a card, and thank you, Denise, for what you say in chat. So happy for you. You deserve this return to passion and peace. Yeah, let's see how long I keep going for. Right, some tacos and a bag of good salt and vinegar chips will keep it going for me today. So saying that, let's do this, and we'll pick. I might just. The vibe I'm in. The vibe I'm in. The vibe we're in. The vibe I'm in. Clear. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles. Someone's serving. Someone's serving here. And yeah. Let's see. They look like cookies to me right now. Maybe because I really want a cookie. I haven't been putting a lot of sugar in my body, but damn. Get some dark chocolate. Oh man, I remember having these dark chocolate covered banana pieces. Damn, so good. Gotta find that shit. So okay, anyway, Ace of Pentacles. Let's see what this book has to say for itself. Beautiful book. I see how they're designating this. There's how they're separating the chapters. All right. The bread basket is full, it says. The bread basket is full, yet the Lady of Life remains at the counter. This is the season for plenty in both physical and spiritual comforts. The lady is distributing the loaves from her basket as she has more than enough for her personal needs. It is a basket of plenty, and the lady is magnanimous in sharing her wealth with all around her. Her generosity brings life-giving and sustaining gifts. The rewards of hard work have paid off, and the lady remembers those less fortunate in her acts of sharing. Dreams of success have been fulfilled as she manifests her personal self-fulfilling prophecy of accomplishment. As she cares for both body and spirit, she reminds the seeker to maintain the health of the physical body. Thus, she directs attention to her gift of the bread, the food to nourish the soul within, along with the external physical body. Her workers warn against neglected health, which is easily caught up in the assembly line of commercialism. With her slow, elegant pace, she suggests the seeker slows down, takes time for physical needs. The body does not work well when neglected. She warns against abuse, addiction, and neglect. The lady wears a long veil and is secretive. In the darkness of intuition, she knows truth and is capable of handling problems. In a reading, the manifestation of material gifts of wealth and prosperity, along with the peaceful assurance of spiritual attainment, looking after the health of the mind and body, prosperity, happiness, peace, and security. That's what I'm going to go do right now. Thanks for joining me. It's always never surprised at the cards that are pulled on this when I do my streams, as you all know. I want to thank all of you for stopping in on surprise live stream here. Denise in chat, thank you for being here. I see you, all of you, for your nice comments and donations. I'm back in action. My calendar's open for readings. If you want to refer somebody my way, This week, I'll be sending out a link to those who are my paid Patreon and channel members for a Zoom meetup, possibly next Sunday. I got to dial in the time if I could do it. And yeah, I still have a lot I have to do behind the scenes. So I'll pull my videos off, my weeklies, and so on and so forth, and kind of prepping ourselves for the massive wave of serious transits we're going to get here at the end of the month and all the way into March. And there's going to be a lot to talk about. Everyone's going to have something to say, about all this, which is great. I'll have my way with it all. Okay. So again, thanks for joining. I should, my mic is loud today and I'm close. I got to get used to the standing thing. I might as well end this the way I started. So there's only a couple of you that saw how I started this stream. It just happened. So let's do it that way. Hopefully my stream doesn't crash on me while I do this. James, thank you for the super chat here at the end. Thank you. I more than hit my goal today. Thank you, James Sanders. Superb owl. Yeah. They are superb. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's get it together here, okay? Because let me see if I can get it here. Oh, I think that's it. And then I did this. I do it like this. There it is. That's how I did it. It was this that I started with. I mean, I'm not gonna repeat myself of what I started, but you'll get the premise here. I mean, I think. Well, I know I talked about the wings of a vulva and wishbone and how men need to learn how to accentuate this portal. That's how I started the stream. And that we come from this place. Some of us are wanting to go back into this place. Some of us are learning what it is in their own bodies, what this place is, ever evolving. Some are really scared of this place. Yeah. Sometimes I think about Kali Ma, the divine feminine, cutting off the severed heads of men like the ego, But you can't have one without the other. And, for me, as a straight guy, I'm try to do my best to understand what's on the screen with patience. And this is what I talked about in the beginning of the video. But at the same time, not losing myself and being strong in who I am and understanding there's a balance and it should be reciprocated. That's how I'm ending the stream. That's how I started this stream. Angela threw in a super chat here at the end. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Linda, thanks for hanging in there late night. Enjoy the chaos, will you? Remember, embrace it. And the full moon we're brilling to here in Leo. Oh man, what a time if you're gonna do creative risk taking. I'm all about it. Post that shit. You make a little something, even if it's a drawing on a napkin or something. Show it to the world. If you don't want to show it to the world, it's fine. But present it to the world. Go outside, maybe hold it up to the sky. So look at what I made. I'm feeling something. I'm free. I embrace the chaos. I'm ever evolving and ever changing. I'm alive. Until next time, thanks for catching me on this ride live stream. I'll see you down the road with another video. Adios.